look at you.
Charlie, you've been looking at me ever since I opened the door.
Yeah, I know, but not with total concentration.
But, come on, Charlie. I feel silly.
Oh, no, you don't feel silly. You look beautiful.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's new dress?
Well, no, I've worn it once or twice before.
Not with Fred down.
Fred? Charlie, I never went out with Fred, so I never got dressed up for him.
Okay, just checking.
Are you satisfied now?
Oh, yeah. That's, Nancy help you, get all gussied up like that?
Well, no, not exactly.
What do you mean, not exactly? Either she did or she didn't.
Well, see, she talked a whole lot about my makeup and my hair and all that stuff, But she left before I changed into the dress.
Ah, which she left for what?
Well, Rose came over and took her next door.
Oh, but Rose gonna babysit with her?
Well, yeah, Rose loves to have Nancy with her.
Oh, gee, I think it would have been better if you'd hired somebody to babysit tonight.
Well, why? Don't you trust Rose?
Well, of course I trust her. She knows more about kids than we do.
Then what's the problem?
Well, with Nancy staying with Rose, that means we have a curfew.
A curfew?
Well, Rose doesn't like to stay up late nights, you know.
I know she doesn't.
Well, that means that we'll have to come home and pick up Nancy early then, doesn't it? Isn't that right?
Wrong.
Oh?
Rose is going to keep Nancy over there overnight, so we can come home as late as we want.
Oh, wow. That's terrific.
Well, all our eyes will probably start closing by 10 o'clock,
You kidding? Not me. Never happened.
Well, just remember you have to go to the furniture store and open up early tomorrow.
Let me worry about tomorrow, all right?
Well, okay, whatever you say.
Okay, yeah, so. It's a beautiful pin you got
Oh,
there.
you like that?
Oh, it's lovely.
A friend of mine gave it to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Great taste. Goes with the whole outfit.
You like?
Gonna put them in water?
Well,
Oh, maybe I should get Rose some, too. Give her some flowers, just kind of thank her for standing by
yeah,
with
well,
Nancy
speaking
tonight.
of flowers and water.
Oh, all right, okay.
Okay.
All right, you need any help?
No, Charlie, I think I can find a vase all by myself.
Good, don't splash any water on that dress or get the pin rusty or anything like that.
I won't, Charlie, don't worry.
Oh, that looks very, very nice.
Yeah, I think so, too. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. You ready to go?
Well, yeah, unless you, I can get you something before we go.
Oh, no. There'll be plenty at the Lake Club.
The Lake Club?
Yeah, that's where we're going to dinner.
Oh.
Is that all right?
Well, I don't know. I've never been there.
Well, neither have I.
Uh-huh. Well, do you know anything about the place?
Oh, sure. I checked it out very thoroughly.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of a crowd goes there?
Yeah, a crowd of people, usually.
Oh, funny. Who'd you check it out with?
Friends.
Young friends?
Well, that's a matter of opinion, isn't it? They're young and they're old. They're all kinds of friends. Why?
Well, Charlie, look, it's not like one of those disco places or anything, is it?
Why? What's the matter with disco?
Oh, Charlie!
Right. No, it's not disco. It's the kind of a place I used to bring Clarice's mother before discos were ever invented.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay. Where's your purse?
Oh, my purse, yeah. Right there. Thank you.
Joe.
Am I going to need a coat?
It's warm out. You don't need a coat. And there's a heater in the car. Huh?
Okay.
Rachel, this will be a dream come true.
For me, too. I've always wanted a house filled with children.
Sounds wonderful to me. What about Amanda?
I'm sure she'd be very happy to have a playmate.
But this is such a big commitment on your part.
Frank, I've considered it very carefully. I have no doubts at all.
Rachel, this will be a dream come true.
For me, too. I've always wanted a house filled with children.
Oh, it sounds wonderful to me. But what about Amanda?
I'm sure she'd be very happy to have a playmate.
But this is such a big commitment on your part.
Frank, I've considered it very carefully, and I have no doubts at all.
Roger. Would you turn the car around as soon as you can and go back to the house, please?
Well, you certainly are full of questions.
Well, I have lots more. Can you stand it?
I'll suppose I don't have the answers.
We haven't had any of the answers so far, so let's not spoil your record. Or do you want me to leave?
Well, if you want me to start making lists, I think you better leave.
Got something against organization?
No, I think they have the value.
You know, if that phone rings, you're going to thank me for all this.
Rachel, I hope you know what you're getting into by offering to take Sue Lynn into your house.
Yeah, I think I do. Now, tell me about Sue Lynn's education. Do you think she's had much?
Well, I don't know, but I guess, well, she's bright enough to catch up with the other kids.
Well, you told me that she spoke 3 languages when she started to talk.
Yeah.
You want her to go into public school or private?
Oh, public, of course.
Well, suppose she doesn't speak any English.
Well, that would be a problem.
Of course, we could hire some special tutors for her.
Oh, Rachel, I hate to think what she's been through all these years.
Frank, children are very resilient.
Suppose she doesn't remember me.
Suppose she doesn't. I'm sorry, but that's something that might come up. You should be prepared.
Here we are, making plans. Not even certain that she's alive.
Well, you have been certain, or at least you were.
I still am. I'm sure the girl in this picture is Sue Lynn.
Frank, while we're being so practical, I think there's something else you better consider and be prepared for.
What?
Well, suppose all of your efforts to find Sue Lynn reach a dead end.
Well, then I just feel I did the best I could.
Can you handle it?
Well, right now, I'd say yes.
Was Jonathan encouraging?
Well, Jonathan always steers a kind of a neutral course, but some of the other guys at the embassy were, they were enthusiastic.
Well, they must have good reason to be.
Well, if Sue Lynn is in the United States, she would be on one of the lists.
And you think you can find one of those lists?
Yeah, I will find it and trace Sue Lynn.
You know, we haven't talked about money.
Well, what about?
Well, it must have been terribly expensive for you to go all the way to Malaysia to find her. I mean, suppose you have to get on a plane and go somewhere else. Do you have the funds?
Look, it's okay with money.
Well, I hate to embarrass you, but if you need money for any plane...
Thank you. Anyway, I'm okay in the money department.
Okay, well, let me know if I can help.
You've been so helpful already.
Well, I've hardly done anything yet.
Oh, just your willingness to help has given me a newfound hope.
It has?
Yeah. Listen. Now, Sue Lynn can maybe have a normal life. And, I don't know, maybe she can have the family that she lost in Vietnam.
Frank, I'm willing to take care of Sue Lynn as though she were my own. But you and I aren't family. And any perceptive child will realize that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true, but I just assumed that someday we would be family.
My only family is with Mac and Amanda.
But you're divorced from Mac.
I haven't forgotten that.
Well, you sound like you're married.
Amanda will always know Mac as her father.
Well, that's the way it should be. Hey, what about you?
You want me to be honest?
Yes, be honest.
Okay. Well, I can't forecast the future, but if I were forced to, I would have to say that I don't think my life would change very much.
All right, now I'm sorry I asked.
I'm sorry I couldn't give you the answer you wanted.
You won't change your mind? You're sure?
Frank, I thought my life might change when you moved in here. But I was mistaken.
It's good to see you, Mr. Corey.
Thank you, Louise.
I read the newspaper reports about Mr. Lafferty's attempt to take over your company.
Yes, fortunately for all of us, he didn't succeed.
It was quite shocking to me that he didn't try.
I felt the same way.
I'm glad it all turned out so well.
Thank you, Louise. Mrs. Corey home?
Well, she was going riding earlier, but she should be back by now.
You haven't seen her then?
No. Shall I ask Brooks to check and see if she's still out in the stables?
No, I already spoke to Brooks.
You were here earlier?
Yes, now I'm back again.
Oh, Brooks didn't inform me.
Perhaps that's just as well.
Was Mrs. Corey expecting you?
Obviously not.
Well, excuse me, Mr. Corey, you seem upset. Is something wrong?
Louise, how much time does she spend out there in his rooms?
Well, Mr. Corey, not much time at all, to my knowledge.
All right, I'm sorry. Forgive me for putting you on the spot like that.
But Brooks and I try to refrain from interfering in Mrs. Corey's personal life in any way, but...
Yeah, I understand that, and I'm sure that Mrs. Corey appreciates it, too.
Still, we can't help but be aware of her unhappiness since the divorce. I believe she cares for you more than you know.
I think that's wishful thinking on your part, Louise.
You know how I felt about the divorce, but I don't think that impaired my objectivity.
You've always been very perceptive, but no, this time I'm afraid you've been taken in the same way as I was.
Mr. Corey, if you think there's anything more than friendship between Mrs. Corey and Mr. Lansing, you're wrong.
I'd hope that, too. But I'm not going to blind myself any longer to what's going on. I care too much about the home environment Amanda's got to live in now.
He said the man was a good deal older than you are.
Go on.
This is going to be painful.
Will you just tell me what it is he said?
All right, he also said that you stood to gain a great deal by the man's death. That's all. I take it from your reaction that it's all true.
I wasn't there to hear what he said.
Janice, I just told you what he said.
I'm talking about the complexion that he put on it.
Complexion? Okay, he did make a crack about your tarnished reputation, if that's what you mean.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
All right, Janice, has he got his facts straight?
Well, there was an older man.
Oh,
and...
sweetheart. I don't like putting you through this.
Well, what did you say when he told you?
I didn't say anything. Just saw red.
You mean you lost your temper?
You could say that. I punched him out.
Oh. Honey, have you seen him at all today?
No. No, he's still waiting for my answer.
What answer?
Kirk says that if I join that board of directors and I vote for the merger, that he won't release the information.
Mac would never understand if he found out.
Of course you can. You know you can.
I think Mac wants to marry me.
Is that what you want?
Oh, Angie, I want it more than anything in the whole world. I just have to make sure nothing gets in my way.
You're not talking about Willis, are you?
No, about Rachel.
What's Rachel got to do with it?
Rachel feels the same way about me as Gwen feels about you. She would do anything to keep me from marrying Mac.
So what you're telling me is that you're going to concentrate all your energies on Rachel, and you're going to forget about Willis?
I don't think Rachel's going to pose a problem anymore.
Janice, listen to me. I want you to be happy. If you want to marry Mac, that's what I want. But I want to be happy, too. And I think you know something about something that's going to make me unhappy. And you're not telling me.
I was beginning to wonder where you disappeared to.
Well, you told me to pick up the winter clothes Mrs. Corey put into storage.
I thought they weren't going to be ready until tomorrow.
Oh, Mr. Clayton rang this morning, said everything was in order, so I went into town and picked them up.
Where'd you put them?
In Mrs. Corey's closet.
You came in by the side door?
Yes, it was quite a heavy load, so I used the side door. Well, how's your afternoon been?
Why do you ask?
Well, you're looking a bit frazzled, if you don't mind my saying so.
Yes, I'm a bit out of sorts.
Well, what seems to be the problem?
Mr. Corey was here.
He still is.
He's upstairs now?
Yes, I spoke to him after I put Mrs. Corey's clothes away.
How did he seem to you?
He's pacing the living room like a caged tiger.
I wish I understood what put him into this state.
I have a fairly good idea.
Well, yes, he said he'd spoken to you earlier.
Yes, that's quite true.
I didn't even know he'd been to the house.
He didn't come here.
Then where did you see him?
He came to the tack room.
Whatever for?
He was looking for Mrs. Corey.
Oh, dear.
Yes, that was my reaction.
Did you tell him she was with Mr. Lansing?
No, it wasn't necessary. He figured it out for himself.
What did he say?
Nothing. He went straight up to the stable apartment, and I assumed he was making his presence known to Mrs. Corey.
Apparently he didn't.
Well, why do you say that?
Because he asked me how much time Mrs. Corey spends in Mr. Lansing's apartment.
She's been there quite some time now.
I'm aware of that.
And where are you going?
To Mr. Lansing's quarters.
Whatever for?
Mrs. Corey should be informed of Mr. Corey's presence in the house.
Louise.
Brooks, she has to straighten out this misunderstanding.
Perhaps there isn't a misunderstanding.
Of course there is.
Stop and reflect a moment. You and I are both aware that Mrs. Corey and Mr. Lansing have been developing a close friendship.
That's all it is, a friendship.
Perhaps it's gone further than we thought.
But Mr. and Mrs. Corey are making each other miserable. Something must be done, Brooks.
That's it. That's it. No one knows
I must tell you that you dance beautifully. It's a real pleasure just to watch you. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, nice. Thank you. What's the matter? You look embarrassed.
Well, I didn't know people were going to watch us.
Are you kidding? Everybody in town's watching us. Handsomest couple on the floor.
Oh, you think so, huh?
Oh, yes, indeed, I do. And she's right, you know. You do dance beautifully.
Yeah, well, it's been years since I've been out dancing.
Yeah, me too.
You know, that band, that I didn't know they played music.
Yeah, they great, huh? Fantastic, that
Yeah.
group, huh? Hey, listen, are you tired? You want to sit down?
No, I'm not tired. Are you tired?
Me? You kidding? I can keep this up all night.
Okay, it's a deal. Maybe by the end of the night I won't be so rusty.
Gib, well, when you're a little rusty, if you got a good partner, they can cover for you, you know?
Uh-huh. Oh, you're Fred Astaire, huh?
Hey,
I mean,
would
come
you
on.
want me to get one of these other clowns to dance with you?
No, I don't want to dance with anybody but you.
Good thing. Give you a trip to the moon. 'Cause that's the way I feel about you, too, dancing. All right, huh? Lindy, you ready for this?
Rachel,
Oh, you startled me.
forgive me.
What are you doing here?
I'm waiting for you.
Oh, were you the last person I expected to see?
Yes, I can imagine. I've been waiting quite some time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we'd made plans for you to see Amanda today.
No, there were no plans.
Oh, you just decided to come over?
Yes.
Well, I guess there's no reason you can't see Amanda whenever you want.
I'm not here to see Amanda, Rachel,
Why not?
because I'm far too upset, and I've noticed that she's very sensitive to my being like this.
Well, if you didn't come over to see Amanda, what did you come for?
Don't you know?
No, and I don't know why you're upset.
I drove over here after I heard about your quarrel with Janice.
Oh, she told you?
Yes, as soon as she got back to the complex.
No, she certainly didn't waste any time, did she?
Did you think she'd keep a thing like that
No,
from
on
me?
the contrary, I'm positive that she would go running to you with her version of it.
What do you mean, her version?
The version that's flattering to her and uncomplimentary to me.
Janice asked me to come over here to see you, Rachel.
Why?
To apologize to you for her.
Well, that's not necessary. I mean, if you spent all of your time apologizing for Janice, you wouldn't have any time left for anything else.
You never miss an opportunity, do you?
An opportunity for what?
For disparaging Janice.
You know how I feel about her.
Then is it necessary to persist in running her down every time we meet?
Why not? She does the same to me.
That simply isn't true.
Oh, well, I wish I had had a tape recorder here this afternoon.
What purpose would that serve?
To make you realize just what kind of a woman she really is.
Rachel, there is no cause for you, no call to go into all
You really
this.
don't want to hear my version of it, do you?
I can imagine. It's not very difficult to imagine what you would have said.
Based on what Janice told you?
No, based on my years with you.
Oh. Well, it's interesting to note that your sense of fairness hasn't changed.
Don't give me a lecture on fairness.
She's really gotten to you, hasn't she? Well, that's all right, because she's not going to get to me. Oh, I get it. I get it. She's talked you, out of letting me do that piece of sculpture for the complex.
I don't want to talk about Janice, and I don't want to talk about the sculpture.
Well, then what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about you and what you're doing here with
What are
that
you
man.
shouting at?
Because I'm angry, that's
well,
why.
that is obvious.
I
Why
want
don't
to
you
know
tell me
how
why?
far are you going with that man?
Mac, I don't ask you what goes on in your hotel room with you and Janice, and I do not expect you to ask me about Frank.
Well, that's not the same.
It is to me.
No, I don't pretend that anything different is happening with my...
Well, it would be very difficult if you tried to pretend.
What do you mean by that?
Because Janice flaunts her relationship with you, and you cater to her every whim.
Well, at least we are honest about it, which is more than I can say about you. You implied to me that Frank staying here is totally innocent. You're just friends, right?
I did more than imply. I told you in plain English.
And now?
And now you don't believe me.
I was a fool if I ever did.
If I wanted to carry on with Frank, I would carry on with him wherever he lived.
Rachel, I want to know what's gone on between you and him. Has he put his hands on you?
Don't you take that tone of voice with me.
Well, then don't you provoke me like this.
Well, it always boils down to be my fault, doesn't it?
Will you kindly answer that one simple
You
question?
have no right to be here in my house asking me these kind of questions.
My daughter lives here in this
keep
house.
Amanda out of it.
She's in the middle of it.
Oh, that's not the way I...
Well, if her whole life is going to be affected by decisions you're making right now with Frank, then I damn well have a right to know about those decisions. Major decisions which might not be good enough for my daughter.
Well, I think I know what's best for my daughter.
Well, I'm not sure that I agree with
Well,
that.
that's too damn bad, you know.
Rachel, I'm giving you one last chance. You understand me? Do you understand me? This is the last chance to tell me what's going on between you and him.
I'm going to try to forget this ever took place.
You do that, Rachel. You forget it. I'll cost you.
Charlie.
Ring-a-ding.
Haven't you had enough dancing for
Oh,
one
never
night?
have enough. Why don't we crank up the Victrola and have a little more?
Victrola?
Well, sure. What's the matter? You don't like the idea of dancing?
The idea of taking off my shoes I like better.
Ah, very good. We will dance barefooted then.
Oh, boy. Listen, have you been taking vitamin pills or something?
Why? Why say that?
Where do you get all this energy?
Because I'm an animal. Music, it's food for the soul.
Oh, why don't you feed your stomach instead? How about a piece of cake?
Oh, no. I can't. I couldn't eat another thing after what we had tonight.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Hey, wasn't that terrific food there?
Was it very expensive?
Well, now, what kind of a question is that?
I'm just curious.
Well, mind your own business, all right?
Oh, okay, but I almost fainted when I opened that menu and there weren't any prices on it.
Because I bring you to classy joints.
Is there prices on the menu they gave you?
Yes, indeed, there were prices on my menu. But you see, they give the menu with the prices to the person who's paying. That's so in case you wouldn't be embarrassed and order the cheapest dish.
Or not order anything at all.
Well, I suppose that happens. Will you please don't worry about it? I'm not broke, you know.
Well, the least I can do is give you a cup of coffee, okay? What do you say?
All right, I'll drink to that.
I'll go fix it.
Ada?
Huh?
Could that wait for a minute?
Wait? What for?
I'd talk to you.
Yeah, I figured that.
Oh, you're going in for mind reading now, right?
Well, no, but I know you pretty well, and I figured you've been trying to tell me something all night.
Yeah, right. You're right.
You want to let me in on it?
Okay. Sit down.
Okay.
Did you really have a good time tonight?
Yeah, I had a wonderful time. Can't you tell?
Well, yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't think places like that existed anymore.
Why?
Well, you know, everything is so loud music and lots of flashing lights and people in funny clothes, you know. Boy, this world is getting to be something, isn't it?
Well, just so long as there's a little piece of it somewhere for us, that's all that matters, I guess.
Well, you got a point there.
Hey, listen, I'd like to take you back to that club again some night.
Well, be careful. I'll hold you to it.
Okay? That's a date.
Well, next time I won't make such a fuss about going.
Good.
I'll bet you I know what you wanted to tell me.
Yeah? You do? What?
Well, yeah, now that you got that new apartment, you want me to help you finish it and fix it up and make it livable, right?
Oh, no, that's not actually what I was thinking about.
Well, what is it then?
Well, I don't know. I don't think that I should spend a great deal of time and effort in decorating a place that I probably won't be living in too long anyway.
Charlie, you're getting more and more mysterious.
Well, it's just that I've looked into the future, and I don't see myself living in a bachelor apartment for a long time.
Well, what are you going to do, find a roommate?
Something like that, yeah.
That's beautiful. What is it? What's it for?
Well, a ring like that usually accompanies a proposal of marriage. Well, you know that I've been fond of you for a long time. Then Fred came in town and started, you know, made me realize that actually it was more than just fun. Hey, what do you say? Marry me? A simple yes will suffice.
Charlie, I can't say yes. Even though I don't want to say no.
Why, what's the problem?
Well, look, tonight was wonderful, you know? I mean, you really did sweep me off my feet. But I didn't get carried away enough to accept a proposal. No matter how much I might want to.
I don't know why you can't do what you want to do.
I just can't, Charlie. Please try to understand and let it go at that, okay? I'll go fix us some coffee.
Well, old buddy, looks like it's going to be a little more difficult than I figured.
Well, hello, handsome.
Well, what's all this?
Well, why don't you say hello and I'll tell you.
Hello.
This is the kind of work that a magazine editor generally brings home to work on.
I see. You're behind in your work?
No. Didn't have anything else to do, being as I was alone.
Forgive me for that, Janice.
You're forgiven? See what a self-reliant new woman I am? I was worried about you.
I'm sorry, honey. I should have called and said that I was going to be delayed.
Did you spend all of this time over at Rachel's house?
Yes, I spent all the time at the house, but Rachel herself was otherwise engaged most of the time.
Oh. Then I gather you need some cheering up.
Yeah, I could use a lot of cheering up.
There, is that better?
Of course it is.
But not much. Mac? Hey, you look really upset.
Yeah, actually I am upset.
What on earth went on over there?
Oh, you don't want to hear my complaints about the kind of life my ex-wife chooses to live.
Oh, then I better fix you a drink.
No, thank you. I don't want to drink, but thanks very much just the same.
Honey, did you have dinner?
No, as a matter of fact, dinner totally slipped my mind. How about you? You had dinner?
No, you know me. I'm never very hungry.
You should eat something, dear.
Only if you join me.
Well?
Mac, we can decide later. I want to know what happened over at Rachel's.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Mac, I asked you to go over and talk to Rachel, and if something happened, I feel partly responsible for it.
Well, Rachel was up in Frank's room when I got there.
Oh. Well, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised.
Why do you say that?
Mac, it doesn't take very much imagination to guess what's been going on between Frank and Rachel since he's moved in there.
She keeps on pretending like it's so innocent.
Do you believe her?
No, of course I don't. They're planning on having a child together.
What on earth are you talking about?
I was going up to Frank's apartment to tell Rachel I was there, and I heard him planning on having a child.
Are you sure you didn't misunderstand?
No. Rachel said she'd love to have a whole house full of children, and Amanda would love to have a little playmate. How would you interpret that?
Well, is that the only comment you heard?
No, unfortunately, but I'd rather not repeat the others.
Do you think that means they're thinking about getting married?
I don't know.
Well, Rachel doesn't strike me as the kind of woman that would have a baby out of wedlock.
Well, apparently, there's no telling what Rachel will do these days.
What did she have to say about it?
Oh, nothing, really.
Well, honey, did you ask her about her plans to have a baby?
No, I didn't.
Don't you care?
Of course I care. I was just so livid I couldn't trust myself to talk about that.
Well, that must have made Rachel very happy.
She does seem to take a pleasure in making me angry.
Oh, Mac, why do you let her get to you like that?
I gave her every opportunity of telling me just where things stood between them. And she wouldn't say one word, not one single word.
Then Rachel's unaware that you overheard.
Yes. The idea of that man moving into her life so fast just destroys me.
Mac, if Rachel wants Frank in her life, now there is nothing you can do about it, so calm down.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm not at all sure I'm going to let those custody arrangements stand if she's going to start having children by Frank.
Mac, please, calm down.
You probably wish I hadn't even come back here in this state.
Now, how can you say that?
Well, my rantings and ravings aren't pleasant for you. I know that.
Well, you did give me fair warning.
Yes, indeed, I really did.
And I'm still here.
Good. Want to get back to your work now? I've interrupted you long enough.
No, you can wait.
Not if you got to have it finished by in the morning.
Then I can get up early.
You hate getting up early.
Not if it means I can spend some more time with you tonight.
You'd really do that for me, wouldn't you?
Yes. There's something else I'd like to do for you.
What's that?
Have your children. That way you wouldn't be at Rachel's mercy when it concerns Amanda.
You've never been so serious about having children before.
Well, I've thought about it a lot. Children in particular. Yours, though, really in particular.
I'm just sort of surprised.
Why? Because I'm a career woman.
Sure. Don't you enjoy your lifestyle?
Yes, I do. But I love you. And I really would like to make up for some of the unhappiness that Rachel has caused you. Oh, Mac. What will become of us?
Your skin is so soft. As soft as a man's.
Not quite.
Yes, it is.
Your skin is soft, too.
What is this, a contest of some kind?
No, I'd never want to be in a contest with you.
Why not?
Because then we'd be on opposing sides, and I couldn't stand that.
Neither could I.
Mac, I love you so much it frightens me.
There's nothing frightening about love.
Frightened I'll lose you.
Don't you know I'm gonna love you forever?
Forever's the long